that is this room. Thanks for coming tonight. This is a meeting about the festival singers trip to Germany and Austria, in part along with some information from our boosters. And we have a wonderful guest with us. But first, we should all congratulate Jonathan Lunneberg, who had his wife and their son on Monday. So. In case you don't know Mr. Lunneberg, he's choir director here also. And this is Mike Conway. He is a representative from World Strides. And he is here. He drove in today from Pittsburgh to run this meeting for us and talk through the itinerary for the trip. I've worked with him since 2010. New York, London, Italy, New York, and now, yes, Disney, and Austria. So thank you, Mike. And he's going to walk us through this and take some questions. So enjoy the presentation.
Absolutely, yes, thank you. Yeah, I did drive in from Pittsburgh. Number one question when you're from Pittsburgh is Steeler fan? No. Of course, no. Penguin fan. But no, it is a testament to the work that Miss Newman does. She's able to whip off those destinations, for travel. New York, Disney, the Disney Candlelight, which is a cool event. Then 3 international trips: London, Italy, and now Austria. It's a testament to the program, a testament to her, and a testament to you, young men and women out here in the choir. So kudos to you. I'm going to try and do this trip justice. You have the itinerary in front of you. I'll elaborate a little bit on it. But again, even I can't do it justice. We talk about America, we talk about here, and 250 years of history. And then we go back, we go over to old country, we go to Austria and Germany, and we're looking at millennia. We're looking at thousands of years, or we're looking at even just Mozart and Strauss the Elder, or Beethoven and Brahms. We're talking about the classical music, the giants, the titans of music, from the 1750s, 1700, 1800. It's just like, wow, just to walk in their footsteps, to step inside and perform at the church where Mozart was baptized, something like that. St. Stephen's in Vienna is such a fantastic opportunity. We'll show you some pictures from the Musikverein to go there. You see that every New Year's Eve, if you put PBS on, you watch the music live from Vienna. It comes from the Musikverein. Morris Johnson's, Marian Alsop last year. It's to sit there and just soak that atmosphere. And to me, it's just really, I hope you can tell my enthusiasm for that. So I could ramble all night, but I have a 5-hour drive ahead of me, but that's fine. No, that's why we're here. So World Strides came up with the cool name, Music in Mountains. But we have kind of put the itinerary together ourselves so that we think that it's worthwhile musically, as well as historically, as well as culturally, and even geographically. So we're going to really open your eyes outside of the classroom in a way that I hope you will enjoy. These are some of the destinations. Somebody already said, wow, you're going to see all that. I said, no, we're going to see more than that. This is just the hem of the garment. We'll fly into into Munich, go down to Neuschwanstein, the castle, right? If you're going to be into Disney, you've seen that castle in Disney. Over Gamoral, of course, the Passion Play isn't going on, but still it's kind of the Black Forest region, the Alpine region. Over to Salzburg, up to Mondsee, which is what they call the Lake District. Then over to Melt, the abbey there. Mauthausen, which is a concentration camp right on the Danube River, so a little bit of history there. Esterhazy and Franz Joseph Haydn, of course. And then we'll end in Vienna. So that's, there you go, that's 8 days, 9 days, 7 nights, I believe, in a nutshell. So if my PowerPoint works correctly, let's start. Day 1, we're going to leave from Detroit. Overnight flights on Lufthansa, members of the Star Line. Sorry, I'm American. I have status on American. I want American miles, darn it. But we'll get Star Alliance, which is United, if you're a United fan. I guess it's from Detroit. Everybody's Delta still, maybe? Yeah. Leave Detroit at 3:50 in the afternoon. We'll arrive at Frankfurt the next morning, 5:40. Clear customs and duty, right? One big happy European Union. Get back on a plane in Frankfurt. It's very user-friendly, even though it's one of the busiest airports in Europe. It is very user-friendly. Arrive in Munich at 9:10, which is fantastic because we get there and we still have the whole day. So we're going to get off, we're going to get on the bus, we're going to meet the tour guide, hopefully it's going to be me and somebody else, and we're going to get on the motor coach and go right down to Neuschwanstein Castle. There it is. It doesn't do it justice. Again, none of the pictures do it justice, guys. When you're going to stand here on the bridge, and it's really cool, you look at the pictures of it, sitting there kind of in the valley between the mountains. It doesn't do it justice. The pictures don't, but there's the bridge, I think it's called St. Mary's Bridge. You're going to walk out on that bridge and get that killer shot, that that money shot of the castle right there. Then we're going to go around, go inside the castle. The plan is to do an impromptu, a little performance there, not necessarily formal, because you have just been on the plane all night. It's still a little bit of time lag going on there. But tour the castle, transfer to the castle, performance at the castle, and then after a while there, we'll continue on to our first evening, our first overnight, which will be at, and you are welcome to read about the history of the castle. King Ludwig is a little bit more in the itinerary. I think he only lived there 7 weeks after it was finished. But interestingly enough, music connection already, we just landed there. When he did this, he wanted to harken back to the Teutonic era, the Teutonic ages. Richard Wagner was king, right? Richard Wagner, the composer, and Tannhäuser and Lohengrin. And he did that thinking it was the same kind of castle that you would see in his operas. So there you go. Music tie already. Overnight in Obergammer from the Passion Play. Everybody knows it from the Passion Play, but also just a beautiful alpine district. There you go. Sits on the lake, nestled in the beautiful Alps. The town is just, all these towns look strikingly, these little towns, strikingly and beautifully similar. But the artwork, the little touches of detail in there, the flower gardens, flower baskets, it's just beautiful. Words fail me. It's just a beautiful sight to behold. I believe also the largest mountaintop circuit is in Germany, is right there, sits right behind the city. So we will have an opportunity to see that. After the overnight, we're headed to Salzburg. But before we go to Salzburg, we're going to go tiny to the Alpine, the Black Forest region of Germany, Garmisch and Partenkirchen. And we're going to have an opportunity to sing in the Silent Night Chapel. Not the one in Frankenmuth, but the real Silent Night Chapel right there. And I would assume Miss Newman is going to sing Stille Nacht in German. Yes, please, yeah. And a cappella, of course, too. Right?
Oh, just so you know, you're wrong.
So, anyways, and this skip the world leaders there. Sorry about that. I just thought that I've seen that photo a lot recently, for better or worse. And it was taken right there. It was taken right on the outskirts of town at a hotel that sits right at the base of the mountain. It's where they held a summit for the world leaders. So, like it or not, like either of them or not, it's just cool to think that, hey, we'll be sitting there in the same kind of area where the leaders of the free world were recently. So, fantastic. Photo opportunities, there'll still be a little bit of snow in the mountains, which is also another interest anymore. Then we're going to head over to Salzburg on the Salz River. Salzburg is a beautiful town, divided a little bit into two parts. Mirabel Gardens, a newer section, a newer part is over here on this side, and then I like the old town over here. This is it's kind of the Sound of Music town, the Sound of Music part of town. Very small town. You can walk from one end, the McDonald's right here too, by the way. McDonald's here, over to the little over to the other church, back in about 15 minutes. It's not that big a town. It's very small. It's very user friendly. It's I don't know, I like the Pittsburgh kind of small town feel, even though they want to think they're a big city. The Hosen Fortress up on top, Sound of Music gazebos up there. We'll talk about that in a second. So overnight in Salzburg, dinner in Salzburg, maybe the hotel, maybe a local restaurant, something within walking distance. Next morning we're waking up, day 4 already. Man, we're still in Salzburg. Morning is the Sound of Music tour. And these are just 3 small scenes from the Sound of Music. It's everywhere. It's kind of like going to New York. It's like, isn't that where they film? Isn't that where they film? It is. Yes, it is. Yeah. The gazebo's up on top of the hill, up in the fortress there. That's where she said, I am 16, going on 17, right there. Towards the end, when they hid from the Nazis, when they left the little talent show, and they went out to the courtyard, the cemetery, it's right here. We're going to walk right through the cathedral, right here, through the back, through the courtyard, through the cemetery. Cemetery will be on your left. Beautiful. It leads to a 700-year-old bakery, to St. Peter's Bakery, which is a neat little thing with a little water wheel that they still use to power some of the not the ovens, of course, we need hot stuff for the ovens, but they still use the power of the bakery. We'll check that out. And then this is the fountain right there, right in town where Julie Andrews saying, I have confidence in you right now. She's in that fountain. So that's the morning, guys. The afternoon is going to be a city tour, the rest of the city, over to Mirabel Gardens. We're going to have a performance here this day. Whether the performance is outdoors, a little more impromptu, a little more informal in Mirabel Gardens, they'll put you in one of these little areas like that, and you can sing there. Or if you want the more formal performance in the Salzburg Dom, the cathedral in Salzburg, that would be a little more of the setting right there. Take a pic, see what you want, and we'll work towards getting that. Mozart birth house also is right there, right? It's right on the main street. There's a Haagen-Dazs. Next to it, there's a McDonald's. Now across the street, it's right there. It's really just a beautiful small town. Of course, the other thing in Salzburg is those little, I bring them home but I never eat them, you know. Those little Mozart, little chocolate balls with pistachios in the middle kind of, yeah, everywhere. Every store sells them. Mirabel, afternoon, city tour. All right, overnight Salzburg. Wake up next day. We're going to go out. Okay, enough of the city, enough of the pollution, enough of the congestion. Salzburg, you're not going to have that. But we're going to wake up the next morning out to the Lake District. Absolutely fantastic. The Wolfgang Sea, Mon Sea. These are the little mountain lakes that kind of run off from the lakes. In the summer, there's a ferry that goes between the towns, Mon Sea over St. Gilgen. We're going to go to St. Gilgen, as well as Mondsee. We're going to two beautiful, different towns. Over in St. Gilgen, I believe, is where the White Horse Tavern was, where the wedding reception was. Over here, we're going to go there. Mondsee over here, St. Michael's. This is where the wedding was held, right? The Sound of Music. There's the hall. There's the aisle. There's the cathedral where Maria got married to Captain von Trapp in the movie right there. We're going to check that out. That's the church from the exterior, from the outside right there as well. Obviously, that's the big draw in Mondsee. They have 3 different stages there. There's an open-air stage right down on the waterfront, the beautiful lake and the mountains setting behind you. There's kind of just in the middle of town square kind of performance venue. And of course, inside the chapel would be the more formal, inside the cathedral would be the more formal venue. It's up to what's available and up to the conductor, what she wants artistically. So those are some of the options there. Absolutely beautiful. Even though the cities are historic and fantastic, and I love them, I think this would be about my favorite day, just to get out literally into the fresh air. You know? Day 6, okay, leaving Salzburg, headed over to Vienna. It's kind of a travel day. We're going to go along the Danube. We're going to cross the Danube, Germany, Upper Austria, Upper Austria. 2 stops today. First stop's going to be at the Melk Abbey, M-E-L-K, Melk Abbey, 900-year-old, over 900-year-old Benedictine Abbey. No famous composers or musicians associated with it, but still the organ in there is just fantastic to be heard. We're hoping for a performance inside there. This is, and when you think of the Melk Abbey, you think this is the actual entrance to the church, but that's just a really small part. Go home and Google Melk Abbey and look and see from the air. Huge historical complex, library, museum, Benedictine Abbey. There's dorms. There's everything that you would need to be a self-sustained community. Fantastic. After that, shift gears a little bit. We're going to get to Mauthausen, concentration camp and memorial. A little more of a somber note, much more somber note. If you've been to Auschwitz or Birkenau, it is, let's just say it's easier access, so it's much more visited. But what happened here, the events here, and the, for lack of a nicer word, the process here, is something that must be seen and must be experienced. We'll walk into the concentration camp, immediately greeted by the killing wall, and then the dorms are still set up. They've restored the dorms, the field, with the barbed wire, of course. And then as we walk down the hill, there's memorials from all the different countries that had lost citizens there, as well as countries who liberated Mauthausen at the end of World War II. But what you want to see, it's a cliff. It's a cliff. And around the outside, the cliff is here, around the outside of the cliff are these stairs. In French, they call them the escalier de mort, the stairway of death. What the Germans would do is take the prisoners, march them down to the bottom, about 160 steps. And when we get there, I'm going to challenge you, young men and women, to walk those steps and think what those folks went through. When they got to the bottom of the steps, it was a stone quarry. In that stone quarry, they were made to pick up a rock, put it on their back, and walk up to the top of the hill. And these are folks who are emaciated, who haven't eaten in, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, months. Got to the top of the steps, they throw the rocks down over the quarry, go back down, pick up another one, do it again. And they did that until the ultimate end. And it's very somber. There's nothing fun about it. but it is a part of our past that I believe should be seen, should be experienced, and we're going to go there, and like I said, we'll challenge you to walk up and down the steps and think about the events that happened there. After leaving the Milk Abbey, we'll cross the Danube again, over to Vienna. Overnight in Vienna, waking up on our 1-week anniversary of our trip to Austria. And we're going to go to Eisenstadt, a little bit south of Vienna. South of Vienna, here we're going to find the music of Franz Joseph Haydn, the creation, and all of those symphonies. There's over 100 symphonies that he did. First thing we're going to do is go to the Burgkirche in Eisenstadt. Possible performance there. Maybe at Esterhazy Castle. Again, we'll see. At the Burgkirche, that's where Haydn is buried. There's Haydn's tomb. It's down the stairs behind a little fence. Not a fence, but it's kind of a fence. And there's Haydn decomposing, as the joke goes. And this is the Burgkirche. That's it right there. Up the steps inside. Haydn's downstairs. We will go there. And we will go to Esterhazy Palace, where we will spend considerably more time touring the palace and the court that Haydn worked in his days in Esterhazy. That evening, what a great day musically, you know. We're going to go to a concert at the Musikverein. I said it earlier, and I just ramble on and on. Sorry, well, I always ramble, but just ramble on. I love this space. I just love it. It is fantastic. If you're a musician, if you even think you're a musician, you know the Musikverein, and you will be as excited as I am to go there and to go in there and to hear a concert inside the Musikverein. Here's the Musikverein is here. Across the street, down the road, is the State Opera House, the Vienna State Opera, the Staatsoper. But we're going into the Musikverein. Out front, it's the Walk of Fame. You know, cool. Not like Hollywood, where every second-rate celebrity who has $150 can get his name on his own star. No. We're going to go down. There's Paul Hindemith. There's Schoenberg. There's Zemlinsky. There's all the artists who have made a name for themselves in Vienna at the Musikverein, right there. In the sidewalk memorialized right there. Inside, it's like an art gallery. It's like a statuary of famous composers. You know, turn down this concourse. There's a statue of Wagner. Downstairs in the lobby, there's Gustav Mahler. Right? Wow. And there's Franz Liszt. Love it. And then the space itself. Fantastic. It is a lot smaller than you think. You'll go in and say, wow, it looks a lot bigger on TV, as everything does. But it is such an historic space. No, there's not much. I don't have much to describe it. I don't have much to describe it. So, sorry. Day 8, Vienna, the walking tour. Of course, any highlight in Vienna is St. Stephen's Cathedral. Right here, where Mozart was baptized, inside the main door, right there on the left. There's the baptismal font where Mozart was baptized. Still there, still in use today, right? So we're going to do an old Vienna walking tour. We're going to see the world-famous Lippizzaner stallions, and see a show with those guys, those horses, those stallions. City Park, where a lot of the famous composers have statues. You saw the statue of Strauss on the very beginning. And again, a performance in St. Paul's Cathedral. We did spell it right. It's just perfectly aligned there. So there's just some of the things we're going to see or experience. There's the Lippizzaner. Lippizzaner was actually a school. They call it the Spanish riding school. And we're going to go there and check out the horses, check out the shows, a little equestrian show while we're there. A neat experience, a really neat experience to watch the horses. And how do you do that? I mean, it's something that I only get to see at medieval times, right? When I'm going to medieval times for one of their dinners. So I think this will be a little fancier than the evening at medieval times. Then we're going to come back to City Hall Park. We're going to go tour of the park. There's Brahms. There's a statue of Brahms. There's down the street. There you go, around the block. There's Mozart. Statue of Mozart has a big old G clef in front of it. Students who aren't musicians always say, "What's that? Why is that like that?" G clef. It's a music clef. Some of the other things that they mention on the itinerary, if you have the itinerary, is the clock. This is the clock. There's 12 different statues, different historical figures, saints, and other things. And rather than the clock have time, which nobody even remembers that anymore, right? This is a clock. He has a big 6 above his head. And so 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, he's the star of the show. And he goes from 6 to 7. Then he disappears. He goes bye-bye. Next guy comes out. He comes down, goes around, he runs back. It's a neat thing. You have to see it to experience it. And then they also mentioned the Virgin Mary wedding statue, which is right in the center of town. Again, beautiful piece of art. Down the street is what they call the plague statue that the citizens of Vienna erected. when the plague skipped their town back in the day. Just beautiful. It's like New York, but when you go to New York, you're looking up, these buildings are so tall and just so, wow, look at that, it's way up there. But here you're looking at the architecture, the beautiful architecture, the little cherubs, the figurines that are there in marble, not plaster, and it's just beyond belief. So while you're looking down, you're also looking up, and it's just a beautiful experience. Next day we wake up and sorry guys, it's time to get home. But the good news is the flights are decent. The flights we have right now on hold, I do think we have like one bus. The European bus is about 44. So we have like one bus of seats on the plane. So we'll give you the pep talk in a few minutes about that if I remember. But the flights are actually decent. 10:25 departure. So I said you'll get a real hotel breakfast for change instead of a granola bar and apple as on your way out the door. So that's good. You arrive in Chicago at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, even though it's a 10-hour flight. You've only been in the air 2.5 hours, right? Anyways, then we depart Chicago on United. Fortunately, nobody has guitars, so they won't break our guitars. Anyways, it's choir, so we don't have any issues there. And we arrived back in Detroit actually by 6:30 that evening. The flight on the way back, I was told, is on Austrian Air, which is, of course, a code share. It's all one big happy family. A code share with Lufthansa, with United, with all the other Star Alliance members. Leave from Vienna International Airport via Chicago. So I think that's it. That is it. All right. I hope you're packed for the itinerary. I'm excited. It's very itinerary. I rambled long enough, but if you have questions about the itinerary, feel free to ask me. But what I wanted to say was, and this is something that Ms. Newman will say much more eloquently than me, is like I said, we have about 44 seats on hold, so it would behoove you, if you can, to sign up sooner rather than later, because once those seats are gone, once those spaces are filled, dare I say you'll go on a waiting list until we can get adequate folks on a second motor coach and get adequate same-priced flights for the other, for the, what we would call the overflow. So that's just the nature of European buses. They're a little smaller than our American buses, but they usually have a little coffee thing in the middle of it. So.
There you go.
Anyways, any questions on the itinerary? Feel free. If not, we did a good job. We did an okay job. Cool. Questions? No? I give it back to Ms. Newman then, please.
How can you not have any questions? Thank you, Mike. Really exciting, really fun. Congratulations, by the way, for those who are in Festival Singers and the parents of Festival Singers. This is one attribute of many performances we'll do during the year. So that is going to be a focus this year, and students know that, especially returning students in Festival Singers that were at Festival Singers this past year. They knew this was coming. So some of you just found out because the list came out 2 weeks ago or so. So surprise, congratulations. Definitely an opportunity that we're going to work toward. Going to be a whole different set of music, a lot of rehearsals themed toward the Austria trip and the performances there, which they're going to have an awesome year. So congratulations. We have fundraisers available too. So that will also be a part of our year experience together. We have a fantastic booster board of parents who volunteer for all of the choirs. And a large part of what they need to do in our meetings, in the board meetings, is talk about fundraising opportunities so we can make this a little easier for all of you to pay for. And so